Okay, so there's this big rally out in Los Angeles recently. We've got the rundown here. Bernie Sanders was there, AOC too, lots of union folks.
Right, quite a gathering. And the main thing, the sort of connecting thread everyone seemed to be talking about, was this concept of fighting an oligarchy.
Yeah, that word came up a lot. It wasn't just Bernie, right? I think one of the first speakers, a nurse, actually mentioned it.
That's right. She talked about this corrupt system, billionaires, politicians kind of working together basically for themselves. And she even, interestingly, mentioned learning about it from a gray-haired man.
Ha, yeah, pretty clear who she meant there. So Bunny's been talking about this for years, but it seems like it really crystallizes the central theme of this event.
Exactly. It became the frame for everything else, the economic struggles, the political issues. It was all presented as part of this larger fight against concentrated power.
AOC picked up on that strongly too, didn't she?
Oh, absolutely. She talked about an extreme concentration of power, greed, and corruption. And she framed it really starkly, as a choice
A choice between what?
between oligarchy or democracy. That was her line. She argued that this huge wealth inequality, pointing fingers at figures like Elon Musk spending big in elections, is actually eroding democracy itself.
So it's not just about money, it's about political power being bought, basically.
That was precisely her argument. She even mentioned her own experiences in Congress, the influence of lobbyists and dark money, and how it leads to policies that, well, don't benefit most people. Rising costs, fear, division. She linked it all back to that system.
Okay, so that sets the stage for Bernie. When he got up, what was his core message around this oligarchy?
Well, first, he acknowledged the massive crowd, 36,000 people, he said, and he basically told them their presence was making people like Trump and Musk very nervous.
Direct as always.
Yep. He called the current moment one of extraordinary danger, saying billionaires control too much economic and political life. He even pointed out Musk himself apparently agreed they live in an oligarchy.
That's a clever rhetorical move, using their own words.
Right. And he brought up Lincoln, the whole government of the people, by the people, for the people idea, to contrast it with what he warned could become a government by and for the billionaire class.
So he's framing it as a fundamental threat to American ideals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He condemned the campaign finance system, Citizens United, billionaires buying elections, called for public financing. He basically said the oligarch's religion is just greed.
Strong words. Did he connect this oligarchy idea to specific policies or actions?
Definitely. He talked about Trump's proposed cuts to things like Social Security, Medicare, the VA, all to fund massive tax breaks for the wealthiest 1%. He slammed that hard.
The $1.1 trillion figure, I think.
That's the one. He also connected it to foreign policy, criticizing funding for Netanyahu's war machine, as he put it, and suggesting some plans related to Gaza were tied to billionaire interests.
So it's domestic and international, in his view.
Yes. And he described the economy as these two Americas, one doing phenomenally well, the other just, paycheck to paycheck, stressed, even facing lower life expectancy.
He often talks about that contrast.
It does. He pointed out that worker productivity is way up, but real wages are lower than decades ago, with wealth just flowing upwards. He brought up FDR, saying economic rights are human rights.
So what's the answer then, according to Bernie, if this oligarchy is the problem?
Well, he laid out a whole list of demands. Taxing billionaires fairly, a living wage, strengthening unions with the PRO Act, expanding Social Security, Medicare for all, lowering drug costs, affordable housing, free public college. The familiar progressive platform, really.
Framed as the antidote to oligarchy.
Precisely. And he ended with a real call to arms, basically. He said, look, this is tough, but despair is not an option. He told the crowd they were scaring the hell out of the elite because, the classic line.
They are the 1%, we are the 99%.
That's it. He quoted Frederick Douglass about power conceding nothing without a demand. He said the oligarchy won't give up easily, so people have to fight, organize, mobilize, educate, door to door, workplace to workplace.
A real grassroots mobilization call.
Yeah. He finished by saying, Americans don't want oligarchy or authoritarianism. They want a government that works for everybody. So the whole event really centered on defining that problem, oligarchy, and urging a massive unified fight against it.
A clear message then, focus on that core idea.
Very focused. It pulled together economic anxiety, political frustration, and fears about democracy into this one central struggle against concentrated power.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon with another one.